I'm Michelle Taylor. I'm the ag teacher at Brawley High School. I've finished up 27 years, getting ready to start my 28th. But things have actually kind of changed from back in the days. I used to only have the tomato side of it. I don't know, you can see the little picture, but we have a commercial sized greenhouse on the school campus, 30 by 120 feet. And Allison's one of my students in here, and I got some others that have been here, that we raised hydroponic tomatoes in there. No soil, everything is produced using water. Well, things age. And so anyway, so our greenhouse went out of commission for a few years because it needed some repairs done on it. And so anyways, we finally, during the pandemic, proved wonderful because there was lots of money coming in and stuff like that. So we got the greenhouse fixed back up. We've had to make some adjustments in it because we can't cool it the same way. So it's not only tomatoes. We now have lettuce and other stuff in there. And then the outside, which used to be our chicken coop all the way around the outside, they are part of our integrated pest management system because they kept all the bugs out of my greenhouse, has now been replaced, and the students here are putting in citrus trees here. And then you'll see in a second there's some permanent beds here in the front, and then on the other side of the greenhouse there are some raised garden beds to do annual. So we've taken a whole different change. Instead of having just one crop into having lots of variety. This is taken at the end of the school year. We're in the process of the trees are already planted, look great, but on the other side we are in the process of taking everything out. Stuff is underneath construction. We haven't even got down to the classroom end of it to start working on any of that, so it's evolving and stuff. So we have not gone back to, we used to sell, because things and rules and stuff have changed, but back when they were talking about farmers markets, when we ran only tomatoes in the greenhouse, 90%, if not 100% of our greenhouse tomatoes all went over the hill to the farmers markets in San Diego. And so they would come down here, they would hit me up, and there's a whole bunch of produce sheds on 111, and they would hit all them up, they'd fill up their trucks, and they go back over there and sell them to the farmers markets. Well, that marketing has changed because now San Diego farmers markets, they can only collect produce to sell within so many miles of that. So Imperial County does not fit in their sphere of collection zone. So anyway, so that's changed. We've changed our practices. So we're in a learning curve right now. So this is kind of our, since we're coming out of the pandemic, really first year with students. And so, you know, you never quit learning. And someone mentioned in here, you know, just get started, put a seed in the ground and get going. It is really that simple. It's just some little bit of soil, some seed and some water, and you'll be amazed. The kids love it and give it a try. So anyways, I'll be quiet. So this is going to be our future citrus grove. We are digging holes that are 3 foot wide and 3 foot deep. We are then filling them with water to soften the ground up around them. Brawley's got some pretty nice soil, so we do that. We will fill the holes back in with carrot dirt from Westmoreland, and then we'll put the citrus trees in here shortly. This is about halfway through our perennial beds. We already have our asparagus planted in this middle bed. We still have one bed to build right here, which will be an artichoke bed. There will be a brick walkway between it. You can see a finished brick walkway. This will be our strawberry bed, and then a bed over here. There will be an area with more bricks around here, so as kids have to wheelbarrow or even wheelchair handicap accessible, this will all be a nice walkway. In the center, our ROP Landscaping has put FFA initials in the bricks here, which will get stained and make it stand out. Over here, I'm calling this my summer bed. We remodeled this one, and we have some stuff that we're going to hold over the summer. The rest of our raised garden beds we are going to tear down here in the month of May. But anyways, we do have some watermelons, we have some multiplier onions, some bell peppers, a lot of beets, ground cherries, bread poppies, variety of different squashes in here, some sunflowers, cantaloupes, and different things like this. These were our winter garden beds over here. They're kind of at the end of their season and flowering and dying out in a variety of different stages. But we set these up in a square foot garden method, and I had the kids learn how to do transplants. This is the leftovers, they ready for the dumpster. But anyways, I did teach them how to do transplants so they could do that. And then in each of the squares that we have here, I have a chart for the students that show how many plants per square foot. Now this bed was a holdover bed. for us, because I had people, as they saw us building stuff, kept donating things to us. These are pine berries, which is a white strawberry that's supposed to have a pineapple flavor. We have red Russian kale. We have a variety of different cherry tomatoes out here. This is cilantro that has gone to seed. We have some of our smaller carrots that haven't been picked yet. Some other strawberries, Albion variety, some pepper plants, some of the leftover of our tomatillos, our onions that are going to seed. These were actually some really late corn, and now they just decided to take off and go. Some peppers that are a little happier. Nasturtiums, which are a trap crop, but they're also an edible flower. Got like a pepper flavor, like a salt and pepper type flavor. Radishes that have gone to seed. Bok choy that's does not really care for this warmer weather. It's kind of starting to spread out more. Some large leaf spinaches in here. Again, some more tomatoes up on those trellises. Again, this is kind of not the pretty time to come see. We have some green onions that are still left. We do have dill. I don't know if you can see here, but we have left things to go to flower just because it has been bringing in some of our beneficial insects, such as the ladybug you see here, and some of the other insects we have. These were some Mexican sunflowers that were really pretty. We did some cut flower arrangements out of them, not edible. Then we have some different squashes in here that are taking off, that are liking this warmer weather. We have, oh, there we go. Let's say I know we have some butternuts in here and stuff that have come off. So we have some other zucchini type squashes. I don't know if you can see the little zucchini starting in here that are getting started. They like this warmer weather. So again, we have some vines that have taken off here and starting to trellis up. So you can see some of the squashes we have here. We have some mustard, a red mustard. You can see the bees coming in here. They love the cilantro flower, but we have lots of insects coming in on that. This is actually a Chinese long red bean. I may have the name incorrectly, but we've had some of these beans that are like a couple feet long. Not the very pretty vine, not a whole lot to them. They're whatever, but they have really actually produced quite a bit of beans off of there for no more greenery that's on there. These are some of our cherry tomatoes. We had some fun with some different colored varieties and things like that. And we did mostly cherries out here because I have beefsteaks inside. These are some of our beets that are kind of stragglers that kind of got shaded out, so they're kind of running a little late in the growing season. Dill, we did an herb in each bed, so we have dill, oregano, thyme, cilantro, basil, and some different stuff like that. We did some Swiss chard. We did try to do some companion planting, so it should be at least one flowering plant in each bed, and to help kind of bring in some of those beneficial insects. And that's just, we have some stock flowers in there as well for some cut. The zinnias, Swiss chard, it's got beautiful color. We have some celery in here. This one here has just gotten, it's hard to believe that is just one seed, but that is a very happy plant right there. Inside of our greenhouse, again, things are warm. We're supposed to hit 100 degrees today, so my plants have not been happy. But we had a injured pepper plant. We brought it in here and put it in on our hydroponic system, and it has taken off and thriving. It's bigger than our stuff that's outside. But these are our tomato plants that are all hydroponic. We did just harvest the other day, so there's not a whole lot of red, and the heat has kind of knocked down our size of our plants, and we've had a little bit of blossom end rot because of the heat. But we've got 4 rows here of, I don't know, about 70 buckets per row in here of that. We just tore out, sorry I don't have pictures of it here. This is a hydroponic lettuce setup here. These are like rain gutter type situations here. And then they have these caps that go over the top of them. And then in each of these squares, we put in a rock wool plug that has the little starter in here. So these are some leftover from our nursery tray. We planned on going a little bit longer, but this hot weather, all of our lettuce just started bolting like crazy, so it's just gotten too warm for them. But anyways, with these rock wool cubes, they're in here, that's a little square, and then we can just break them off, and then we put them into the trays as I was showing you, and then the tray snap on here. It has a recirculating water system. We just put on here our pH and our EC. Kids have some meters. We keep the fertilizer down here, and then they can just mix the fertilizer every time we have to top off the tank, and they can do that. Things, like I said, are we're in the cleanup stages. So also our heat also knocked down. We had peas in here, so these were all edible pod peas. And so anyways, they were all the way up to the rafters. They are slowly starting to die off as well, just they're not heat friendly, but we pulled a lot of peas out of here this year. Probably our favorite one is this is kind of a smaller one, but were these big red pod peas. They liked them. Now these peas here happen to be very happy. They were slow. We had 2 leaves on them all winter. Now all of a sudden they're deciding to thrive and go off. These are butterfly peas, and this is not a pod pea that you eat, but this is an edible flower. And if you Google and look up about butterfly pea tea, you'll see some really cool stuff. If you mix the tea up and then put in some sort of an acid, it will change the tea from purple to fuchsia pink and stuff. So kind of a fun thing we were just doing, check stuff out. So our greenhouse has taken some major renovation. Our greenhouse is over 20 years old, and so our walls are not like they used to be. They used to be a lot more see-through. We used to, for those of you who have been around, used to have cool cell pads in the back portion. We've had to seal that off because after 20 years, water is really hard on metal and has eaten it up. So over the summer during the pandemic, we made this from a negative pressure greenhouse to a positive pressure greenhouse. So it's blowing air into us instead of sucking air out of here. And so we are kind of learning how to redo some things in here for the cooling system and stuff like this. I did want to show you, this is a variety of tomatoes. Many years ago, we were the first place that yellow curleaf was detected in Imperial County. And so there was lots of researchers in the western United States that were trying to figure out how to deal with yellow curleaf. This is actually a plum tomato that is a variety that is supposed to be yellow curleaf resistant. And so anyway, so this is probably the last of the sample seeds that they had sent me we did kind of some experimental work for them years ago. And so anyways, this is one of the negative effects we've had to our positive pressure greenhouse. Our tomatoes here in the front have not liked this much wind. After we get, it's just these about 6 plants right here in the front. So it's a learning curve we are figuring out how to overcome and stuff. So anyways, that's kind of a mini tour of our facility here. Sorry I could not be with you at your workshop, but it's been a great experience to get the kids involved. I think it's also been beneficial because there's been a lot of vegetables in here that kids have been like, I never knew these existed, didn't know what they taste like, and so therefore they've tried different things. We've also played with recipes in here for fun to get the kids to try some new stuff, new gardening methods. I should also, I guess, point out real quickly, I have some students who have gotten real into the gardening, and we have SAEs or projects that kids can do. And so anyways, these are some student projects out here. Again, we're getting late in the school year, but this is a student who, he's harvested about half of the carrots out of here. See if I can get the camera down here so you can see his carrots. But anyways, I don't know if you can see the size of this, but he's gotten some nice sized carrots out of here. With the empty spots he's already done out. He has some pepper plants. He did some different varieties of peppers. He also did some plum tomatoes. He wanted to be able to make some spaghetti sauce and paste, so he has got some tomatoes coming on in there as well. They did some onions, a couple different varieties, and again, kids were way into tomatoes, so they're excited about that and tried some different stuff. So we've had some kids. I've got one who's just doing some new summer crop stuff in there. So anyway, so some kids have picked it up and have got quite excited. When it comes to resources to put into your garden beds, I will tell you we have put all kinds of stuff to raise the level up in those beds, because to fill them with just soil would be expensive. But we have used compost that we've gotten from the local feed yard. We also produce some of our own compost. We work with grocer's outlet in El Centro, and they give us the expired produce that we have. Since fair is over with, we have leftover alfalfa hay, we have sawdust out of pins and backs of trailers, and then we have a bin system set up here, and everything's kind of sitting on hold because, again, we're kind of wrapping down here. But anyways, we do use a lasagna method to produce our compost. So there is a layer of the greens, there's a layer of browns and a layer of greens and a layer of browns. We also mix a little bit of manures in here. We have a few kids who have animals that are just on cement, and so anyways, they do bring in some of their animal manures, but for the most part, this is all vegetable composting. We have real high-tech equipment here. We use this bin right here, and once we get to the final product, we sift it out through there. And where I showed you those perennial beds up front, all of our finished compost out of here has gone into those perennial beds. Our compost that's come out of the feed yards has gone into our raised garden bed. So we do have quite a mix between them and just kind of seeing what works best. So, all right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye.